Okay, so we're going to run through the 7 levels of devils as promised in this video. And I'm going to go through every single level because every level has another devil. So it's that simple. The first devil that you really got to worry about is the devil of distraction. It's the devil of the woman in the red dress. And you might have seen this in movies like The Matrix, for example, where Morpheus is teaching Neo, who is understanding more about the devils in his life, and he shows him how his attention was diverted towards the woman in the red dress instead of being focused. And that's when the devil was able to enter his heart. He gave permission through the lure, which was the woman in the red dress. Now, the woman in the red dress is just one example of a devil of distraction and how it takes different forms. But the devil of distraction can take the form of social media. The devil of distraction can take the form of, movies. It can take the form of television. All these things, which influences the way that we feel. Because think about it, your emotion is just simply energy in motion, right? And so what it means is that when you focus your attention towards these distractions, then your energy is no longer within your purpose and being fixated on that, but instead you have been distracted and you've been diverted away from your purpose as to where you're supposed to be. And now your attention has been robbed and has been moved away, and your emotion is now about something else. Your energy is placed on another entity as opposed to being on your purpose. So your purpose is suffered. Imagine, like, just as a number, imagine that you can give full attention, which for you might be 1,000. If there was 1,000 measures of attention that you could have for that particular thing. And now, as soon as you wake up, social media, you've just given 10 points away. 10 points from that. So now it's at like 990. And then there's a woman that comes in and distracts you and you start going speaking to her. That's like 100 points away. Now we're on like 800. Then there's a movie that comes on and you go and get distracted by that. That's another 700. And then you've got like television that comes on and you start watching the news. That's another 600. And you see how like we're barely even getting through the day and your attention on your purpose is like almost dropping just within the morning of you being distracted. So this is what the devil of distraction is attempting to do, is attempting to take our attention away. And so we no longer have that passion. We no longer have that connection to our purpose, that spiritual connection that we have and we're able to tap into as long as we keep our attention focused. I've been listening to a lot of people who are highly successful, not just 6-figure earners, but some of my mentors who are 8 to 9-figure earners. And they all say the exact same thing, which is that money and time are not the highest resources. They're not the most valuable things that you can offer or that you can receive. The real freedom, the real most valuable resource that a person can have is their attention, because it's the most scarce, it's the most limited. And what this really means is your attention is your energy. It's where you put that love, where you put that energy towards. And if you don't put it towards your purpose, somebody else is going to rob it for you. And they're going to take that, they're going to take advantage of that. And so it's important to understand that what the devil can only do is can only distract you. It can only take over when you give the devil permission. And you give it permission when you choose to focus your attention, because it's always a choice. Nobody forces you to put your attention towards the media, towards your phone, towards women. Nobody forces you to do that thing. So it is a choice that you have to make to basically focus your attention towards the things that are distractions. And if you can focus your attention on your purpose, then the devil has no longer have permission to take over your heart. And that's something that you've got within you that you get to keep and you get to utilize, and it's now an asset for you instead of being a liability. Things within you, your organs, can become liabilities for you. Make your heart an asset, right? That's what you want. But as soon as you have allowed the permission to take over of your attention, then your heart becomes locked. You can no longer use it. Then the next level of devil that we have is the devil, which is the devil of arrogance. That is the know-it-all mindset. I can sniff it from a mile away. It's the people who say, I already know what you're saying. They're watching this video right now, or I can switch it off because I already know what he's going to say. And so automatically you block yourself from learning new things because you believe that you know everything already. And it's not a devil that goes away. It's not as if you can say to yourself, oh, I've sorted that out now. I used to have the arrogant mindset and now I don't. But that's the arrogant mindset itself. Because the truth is that the devil of arrogance is always on your back, trying to attack, trying to get in. And so really where you want to be is at a place where you forever are ignorant. You forever don't know what is possible for you to know, because there's always a known and an unknown in this realm. It is impossible for us to know everything. And so even right now, I say to myself, I'm so happy and grateful now for everything that I know, but everything that I also don't know. Because I'm looking forward to learning more about that and recognizing there is infinitely more that I don't know than what I do know. And what I've realized that the commonality is the people who have that recognition of that there's so much more that they don't know than what they do know. These are people who make the best students, because they're so freaking excited to learn more and to take in. But the ones who are like, I already know it all, they don't even show up. They don't even turn up. They might be sat there physically, but not spiritually. They're not present. Most of the time, they don't even go physically. They don't go to the events. They don't buy the courses. They don't go into YouTube and actually start watching the videos. They don't do that stuff, because they're, again, tempted by the devil of distraction. So all of these interlink as well. And this devil is the devil that is a liar, and it lies to your brain. It comes in and attacks you here. And so you have to understand that the lock over here is within your brain. And when you can unlock that, that's when you become aligned with truth. And it is the truth that will set you free. So it's important that we unlock this as well. If you really want to create freedom in your life, which a lot of people say, again, it's another one of those currencies, which is the highest currency. Then we have the devil of fear. And so the devil of fear is one of the devils that we all know about, we all experience. We experience it in the form of anxiety. We experience it in the form of procrastination, not being able to move. Because what fear does is it does three things. If we feel fear, we either fight, we flight, or we freeze. And the problem with fear is that there's no problem in fighting. Fighting is neither good or bad. Fighting is just bad when it's fighting against people you love. Fighting is bad when it's you fighting against yourself, right? So fighting can be great when you're fighting a war for a specific reason, specific purpose. Because I believe that there's no such thing as good or bad. But some people are like, oh no, fighting is always bad. No, it's bullshit. Fighting is just bad when it's not helping you go towards where you want to be. Because that's what I believe good and bad is. Good is what helps you go towards where you want to be, your God life, and God life for other people. Bad is taking you away from that towards the devil. So we've got fear that incorporates fighting and flighting, running. Again, running is not always bad, but sometimes it's bad when you're running away from the things that you know you got to move towards. And then freezing is what causes that procrastination. But obviously freezing can sometimes be good when, you need to make sure that you're not moving and you're just in a place of being stand still, kind of like how animals are in the wild. But a lot of the time we don't need to freeze. We don't need to freeze because there's no animals in the wild. So understand, there's a purpose, there's a reason as to why we experience that fear. But the devil of fear is something that stops us from taking that plunge, taking that leap of faith. Because in order to jump and take those quantum leaps, like we've seen Neo do in The Matrix, for example, in that movie, in order to experience those quantum leaps, you have to leap. You have to take a leap of faith. And every time that you take a leap of faith through your fear, right, with fear being at the bottom of that, falling to the ground, every time you take that leap of faith, that's when you have to experience the quantum leap. And then you have to run again, take a huge leap of faith, and you experience the quantum leap. And this is another thing as well, is that if you don't actually run towards the end of the building, it's impossible for you to do a standing long jump and expect to take the full leap of faith. What really you need is you need to be running in momentum before you actually take that leap of faith. So make sure that you're doing the little things as well every single day, and then it compounds to be a big thing. But yeah, that's a bit of a sidetrack. The devil of fear is something it's gonna hold you from running. It's gonna hold you from taking the leap of faith, because it's stuck within your gut. And every single one of these devils as well, they have certain things, because the devil is clever, right? They have certain things that will cause you to have the effect of staying stuck, to be arrogant, to be in fear, to be distracted. I spoke a little bit about the causes of what it was like for the heart, and dips and television, social media, the different distractions of movies. With the brain, the arrogance comes in with one, the education system. Because what the education system makes you believe is that you know everything that you need to. Once you get to secondary school, you know everything that you need to move to the next stage. Once you get to university, you know everything that you need to become a great employee. And once you're a great employee, there's nothing more for you to learn. How stupid is that? The learning stops at being an employee. You don't learn on the job anymore. You learn within 4 weeks, do what you need to do, and then that's it. You don't really need to learn much more. They don't care if you learn much more. All they care about is if you do the job like a good machine. That's what they care about, like a good robot. And so if that's the programming that you've been given from the education system, then no wonder that you have the arrogance mindset. No wonder that you have the know-it-all mindset. It's within you. It's been programmed within you. And it's never going to go away. It's always going to be there. So recognize every single day, there's some arrogance within me. I need to let go of it. I need to let go of it. Then there is the devil of fear, like I said before, where this devil now, the cause of the fear is what happens through our things that we put in our body with our food, what we eat. All right, so what we eat is important. What we drink is important as well. What we drink has more of an effect on our brains. So this is more the devil of arrogance, because if all we're drinking is fizzy drinks, is alcohol, is things that are actually toxic for our bodies, then that's going to have a major effect on the water content of our bodies, because our bodies are 70% water. So if the brain is also an organ in the body, that also holds a lot of water, and it actually holds the most water out of all of the organs within the body, by 80 to 90%. So if you think about that, then if you change your brain, I remember there was a TV advert with Evian, load of bullshit, but the concept made sense in that if you are more hydrated, then you're able to think better. And I think it was, what was that? There was a TV advert with like Thunderbirds. That's what it was. So if you remember Thunderbirds, that movie, the whole saga, there was this one character, I think his name was Brains or something, and he drank a little bit of water, and then he was like dancing around doing all some crazy shit. And that's simply because he said brains give you water hydrates yourself to give you good brains. That was the tagline. I'll try to, if anyone wants me to send them that advert, I'll find it on YouTube, I'll show you. But it makes sense. So if you think about that can help you in terms of your brains, then it can damage you if you're putting in the wrong liquids, if you're putting in the wrong water. If you're drinking regular tap water, if you're drinking regular bottled water, that's having an effect on your mind. That's having an effect on your brain. You need to change your water. When I change my water, I change my fucking life. So that's one thing. And then there's the devil of fear, like I said, with the food that you put in your body that has an effect on your gut, because your gut is like your second brain. The gut is actually, there's more nerve cells within the second brain of the gut than there is in the actual brain that we have in our head over here. So every food that you're ingesting is having an effect. And a lot of the people eat too much meat. They eat processed food. They eat food that comes from a factory, has a low vibration, is completely dead food. They're not even eating living food. They don't know what they're putting in their body. They're not conscious of it. And so that's having an effect on you. If you experience random anxiety, then it's like, well, no shit, because you don't know what you're putting into your body that's having an effect on you. It's out of your control now. But what you can control is what you put in. So that's the devil of fear. And then after the devil of fear, we have the devil of shiny object syndrome, SOS. Save our souls, right? Because when you have the devil of shiny object syndrome, this is where your attention is now being diverted, but it's no longer about your attention being diverted and having an effect within you. It's having an effect on the outer vehicle. And so what I spoke about before, for example, is that every single one of us wants to have that rocket ship, wants to have that dream plane so that we can go to another continent, travel, go to the moon in a metaphorical sense. And, you know, when it comes to the devil of shiny object syndrome, what that does is it diverts our attention to different vehicles. Instead of it just being one vehicle where you're going to put in all of your fuel, the devil of shiny object syndrome says and whispers into your ear, I think it'd be a good idea for you to put a little bit of fuel into that. That looks really cool. It's really shiny. Go and put some fuel into that. And whilst you're filling up that fuel tank for that particular vehicle, then the devil of shiny object syndrome whispers in your ear again and says, oh, but there's another rocket ship over there. Let's go and put a little bit of fuel into that rocket ship. And so you keep on going through this process of different plane, different rocket ship, different vehicle. There's a car right there. There's like different things that just cropping up as shiny objects, but you are never committing fully to any of them, right? So you're putting in fuel, and then going to the next one. And really what requires, if you take a look and research how much fuel it requires to launch a rocket ship or to launch a plane off of the ground, it's like maximum fuel tank. You can't put in a tenth of the fuel tank and expect that it's going to be able to take off. Because the thing is going to say to you from the very beginning, we are not taking off until the fuel tank is full, because we know that we ain't going to land safely. So that will never take off. And that's the problem with shiny object syndrome. That's why it's so important that you overcome this devil of shiny object syndrome before you get going, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about how you can overcome that, but just know that that's a devil that many people experience, and they think that they're moving, they're actually doing something, but they're not. They're not taking off when they could be doing less. Instead of having to move from vehicle to vehicle, they'll be doing less and experiencing more. So that's the devil of shiny object syndrome. Then there's the devil of laziness. And so the way that the devil of laziness works is that once you've actually, got prepared to take off, that's the devil that's saying, okay, now that we've got everything in, we've got the fuel in, let's just sit back and chill, and, we'll let the engines turn on themselves. We'll let the engines turn on themselves. I mean, once you've committed, that's really all it takes. All it takes then is just, you got to flick on the engines and drive the steering wheel a little bit, manage what's going on, stay organized, stay focused. But instead what happens is it becomes lazy. It's like, no, you know what? Instead, I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to have a coffee. I'm going to chill. I'm going to focus on some other things. And it's kind of like a little mini shiny object syndrome that might end up happening, or the devil of distraction takes over. Because the thing is, just because you unlock the levels once doesn't mean that the devil isn't going to come for you again. And so you might be at a place where you've unlocked the devil of arrogance, the devil of fear, and the devil of distraction, but now it's come back for you. And so that can create the laziness once you're at that point. Once you're at that higher level, the devil of laziness can really take over. So you don't want that to hit you, because that creates some chronic procrastination. And that's where people get to, right? They get into a place where the fear takes over again, because they've mismanaged their guts and what's inside of them, and they just procrastinate in that vehicle. And that's where you want to be. Above this, we have the devil, which is the devil of ego, right? And the way that this works is that if you overcome the devil of laziness and you're actually working hard, you're actually giving it full effort, you're realizing that if I do give it everything full throttle and I can take off, and you've taken off a little bit, but what's happening with the devil of ego is that you take off, and you take off only by yourself. The devil of ego is the one that's like, everybody's got their luggage, they're all waiting outside, they got their fuel that they're even willing to contribute to your vehicle, but you're not opening the door for them. You're like, no, I'm going by myself. And if that's what happens, if that's the case, then you're only able to experience what it's like for you to be the only person in the vehicle, instead of taking like a whole bunch of people with you, right? And so the devil over here is the devil of ego that will prevent you from being able to experiencing what synergy can be like, and now you're only experiencing energy. It's just a single entity, because we're so much more powerful as a group than we are just as a single person. I imagine a group of people coming to attack you versus just one person. That's the same thing. So yeah, that's the devil of ego. And to help you understand as well, like where all of these devils in the vehicle, once you overcome the vehicle within you, they're all in the same vehicle, whichever one you choose. So the devil of shiny object syndrome, for example, has a lock, and the lock is within the fuel tank, because you got to put in the fuel in order to overcome this devil. The devil of laziness is a devil where the lock is within the actual the door, or the devil of laziness is the devil that has the lock in the ignition, because you're not even willing to turn on the ignition to get that. Then the devil of ego is the devil that has the lock within the actual door, because in order to open up the door to other people, that's where you have to open. That's where they come through. And so the final level and the final devil at this level is the devil of greed. And that's where you have an addiction towards self-gratification. You're more concerned about you and making sure that you're good, your happiness is good, your love is good, you're taken care of, and not giving back to the people. So that might even mean that you're still having people in your business as employees and all of these things, but you're not contributing to the world. And the reason why this is so important is that that's what allows us to experience the highest levels of happiness, the highest levels of love, and that legacy. But if all you're focused on is you getting from A to B and not helping other people get from their A to their B, living their dreams, then you're not experiencing what's like can be like at the highest level of legacy. And so the devil places the lock here in what we call other people's fuel tanks. Because once you've unlocked other people's fuel tanks, then they can get from their A to their B. Now what's happened with you is you've gone from your A to your B, and you might have gone to another planet. You might have gone to another continent where there's more resources. And if there's more resources in that planet, you can go back and bring those resources back to other people as fuel so they can put into their own fuel tanks. So these are the levels of every single devil, and you've got to know how to overcome them. It's super important. If you don't, you're going to be stuck in hell, because that's where the devil resides. It resides in hell with you. And it's the complete opposite to the God life. If you are experiencing and succumbing to these devils, then that's where you're experiencing hell right now. If you're thinking to yourself, damn, I am going on social media quite often. I am like drinking the wrong drinks, and I am drinking tap water. I'm drinking bottled water. I am like quite lazy in these things. Understand that you're in hell right now, and you could be in heaven. And so I don't want to just leave you here. What I want to do is in the next video, I want to teach you about the 7 keys that will unlock these locks that the devil doesn't want you to have, or want you to know that you've got. I'm going to teach you about the 7 keys to the God life. This is the best part of the entire thing. This is going to blow your mind. This is going to be incredible. It's going to be so simple, and you're going to understand exactly what you need to focus on in order to reach the levels that you want to be in the game, the levels of heaven. So I'll see you in the next video.